we would ask you some questions because there is no particular knife or no particular steel that's going to just blanket its best at everything, right? If you said to me, I want a fixed blade knife to take out into the woods and I'm going to use it for survival, bushcrafting, hunting in a lot of respects, I've always been a big fan of Niagara's CPM 3V. Really tough. It's a carbon steel, it's not stainless, but it's pretty stain resistant. You really have to be pretty careless to get even tarnishing, and it's almost impossible unless you're really negligent to get rust on it. So like on a fixed blade, I absolutely love 3V. I've loved it since it's come out. I remember when it first came out, I was on a mule deer hunt in New Mexico, was lucky enough to harvest a mule deer, field dress the mule deer. And I said, okay, this steel is brand new. We're going to see how good it is. So I did something that I never do, left the blood from field dressing it, stuck it in the leather sheath, threw it in my pack, and left it there until I got home 5 or 6 days later. It had a very slight gray haze over it, and that was it. Most tool steels would have looked like barnacles of rust over it. It was at that point I was like, man, I kind of abused this knife out in the field, and it was really, really tough. And yes, it's a tool steel, so it got a little bit of a haze, which flitz polish or buffing would take back out, but it did rust. And I was like, that was an aha moment with 3V for me. If you want stainless, CPM 154, I've always been a fan of. Love MagnaCut. Folders, love MagnaCut. Love M20CV, I love. Some instances, CPM M4 has been fun to play around with. There's a lot of good steels. There's a lot of good knives. It really depends on what the end use is, what the customer wants to spend. Are they an avid sharpener? Some people will say, I'd rather have a knife that's easy to sharpen, even if it loses an edge. Other guys are like, I hate sharpening knives. I want it to hold an edge as long as it can, and then I'll have it professionally sharpened or I'll send it back to the manufacturer. So you have to ask this myriad of questions to really be able to recommend the best one. The interesting thing is predominantly when it comes down to blade steels, most all of those blade steels are crucible steels. As you know, crucible went out of business. And that made guys sitting in chairs like me really gasp, like the market is down. The last thing we need is the place that makes the steel for everybody going out of business. Well, thank God Aerosteel did what they did, and probably more importantly, that Niagara did what they did, that Bob and the crew at Niagara said, hey, we're going to figure this out. We are going to figure out a way to either get the formulations or work with the people making these steels, that these steels will be available to the cutlery industry. And until I had that conversation with Bob over the phone, I was sweating. It's like, hey, industry is off if it doesn't have the name MagnaCut on it, because there's some branding in that name too. It's a really good name. So if Crucible goes under and those formulations and those names they all go away, this industry is going down, and nobody's telling me any different. And it's ratcheting down a good bit. The entire industry is probably ratcheting down 10 or 20% down. Niagara comes in, gives us a safety blanket, and it's been business as usual. There was a very short period of time where Bob, I think, said, hey, it might be a little tough. So we stocked up. We stocked up enough that by the time it got through that period, they had restocked. And I just ordered some steel here a little bit ago, and no problem at all. I really did not. There wasn't an avenue that I looked at like, okay, this will all be fine, and this is how it'll work out. And somehow it did. So hats off to the people that did what they do. Not sure how Bob pulled it off, but he did.